in the discussion, they might be like, yeah, let's start writing this. And I was like, well, you can't start writing it before you get the, oh yeah, we did today. Then, well, can you give it to me? Well, I can't give it to me before somebody else gives somebody else. I said, okay. And then afterwards they might say like, yeah, so clever because you thought of these and these things. And I said, these are clever.
That is incredible, because probably number one reason why you have this skill is because you did mathematics. Hi, and welcome to Manifold Solutions podcast. My name is Vadim Weinstein, and on this podcast, I talk to people about post-PhD mathematics careers and how to infuse your career with more purpose and how to make mathematics the queen of science again. Whether you are a mathematician who is interested in transitioning to an industrial position or another academic field, maintaining your identity as a mathematician, or otherwise you want to participate in conversations related to mathematics career topics, please check out our website, manifoldsolutions.io, and our Facebook page, Manifold Solutions, where there's a community of mathematicians who have either found their dream job already or are looking for one, and people are having a free-form discussion. You can also join our mailing list, and you can just contact me on LinkedIn as well in a private message. All the links are below. Without further ado, let's jump into the interview. Oh yeah, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel right here. Jokke Häsä. Jokke Häsä. So first of all, I remember you did your master's degree in logic.
Yes.
And then you did a PhD in Imperial College London on group theory.
That's right.
And I remember you did, it was computer-assisted mathematics that you did.
Yeah, you could say so, yes.
So it was not applied mathematics, but it was pure mathematics, but with computer simulations and...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Nowadays, I guess it feels kind of natural, but it's true. Kind of basic testing a lot of finite cases by computer and then deriving the general case without the computer.
At the time, it was kind of new, even though the first things happened in the 60s, they did with the four coloring problem, but it still was kind of controversial still when you were doing it.
Well, I never thought of it as controversial.
Okay.
I think it was already becoming mainstream. I didn't think of it as controversial. But,
okay. And then you came back to Helsinki, and then you went very strongly into mathematics education.
Yeah, gradually. So I did a postdoc in Durham University between that. So that was still focused on the same group theory, representation theory that I did in my PhD. But during that and then afterwards, I focused more on the one.
Where was the postdoc?
Durham. It is in North England.
Okay. So you spent quite a while in England. And and then I remember that you were teaching that was very famous course, mathematics of Rubik's cube.
Yes.
Was that after or even before?
I think that was before. Yeah, I guess it was a long time ago. So maybe I did it between the two England phases. I'm not sure exactly. I did it a couple of times, so maybe I did once before, and you could check this, but something like that.
Actually, now I realize I remember the first time we met.
When was that?
So you might not remember this. So 2005, maybe 4, and I was very excited about mathematics, and I went to the university. Some of my friends who were already doing their master's degree invited me to Heimola.
Mm-hmm.
That was before the Exactum building where we spent most of our time, I guess. And we were doing some exercises in analysis 1, which at the time was called differential integral laskenta 1.1. And then there was a very difficult exercise and we couldn't solve it. And then some of my friends there said, well, you have to go and ask somebody in the exercise classroom or something. And then I went there and I think you were there. Is that possible?
It's possible,
Okay.
yes.
I think that is my first memory of you and so and you helped that, but I was full of tremendous respect because I was this young guy who just wanted to get into the world of mathematics, and you were there instructing and helping us to understand. Anyway, so fast forward, mathematics was Rubik's cube, which is algebra in disguise.
Yes.
So it's really finite group theory, or
yeah. It's because for some reason I kind of got interested in group theory more and more, and then I wanted to somehow but at first it was so abstract to me, but then somehow I read more about like its applications in symmetry theory and so on, and also I found this text by some person in Turku, I think, who wrote it. It was online, which was about like how these transformations of the Rubik's cube, what kind of groups they form, and then I was like, yeah, I need to make this sort of that this helps people to get motivated about group theory when they can actually see how it works and touch it and so on, and I was enthusiastic about it, and then I kind of asked if I could. That was it was a long time ago, so it was before these new study programs and stuff, which are kind of very rigid nowadays. So then it was more like, okay, you can just propose a course and people can just take courses how they like, almost anything. So then I proposed that could I teach this, and yeah, sure, why not?
right, yeah. I also took advantage of this and taught knot theory.
Yeah.
But this Rubik's cube idea is fascinating because everyone knows Rubik's cube.
Exactly.
So you're able to hook attention and motivate people right away, and it might even come as a surprise to many that you can kind of have an entire course of mathematics just about Rubik's cube. But of course, you go into a lot of group theory, and I remember some of it. But that's a great trick. And then later you wrote a book with Johanna Rämä on algebra 1, the course.
Yeah, like basic first university course, yes.
Which I used then when I was lecturing algebra 1.
Right, yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah. And there you also exploited things like clocks and other metaphors to help people to connect with the abstract material. So, for example, in a clock, you have a situation where 8 plus 8 can be 6. 4. Oh, sorry. Yes. 8 plus 8 equals 4. Why? Because when it's 8 o'clock and 8 hours later, it's 4 p.m.
Right.
So just 4 o'clock. Yeah. So it's a good metaphor. It's a good way to teach. And sometimes I do the trick. I ask people. So my usual question, that's why I maybe got confused, but I usually ask people, where is it the case that 10 plus 10 equals 8? and people get all confused and like, oh no, but in mathematics it's always the same. The answer is always the same, right? And then I point out that the clock, and everyone is shocked because they knew it.
Of course.
Right. Okay. So you did quite a bit of mathematics education, and then so I'm curious about what happened. What happened then? So at some point you transitioned to work in the Finnish Institute for Health and Welfare, and so first of all, was this the first job you had after university, or was there something in between?
You mean after, as in?
Or I'm not. Yeah, well, maybe tell your story
you mean
because I don't know. In fact,
kind of like outside university, you mean, or what do you mean?
yes, because I actually don't know if you still work for the university.
Well, okay, but yeah, it was. So this is the only sort of actual job I've had outside university.
Okay.
If you don't count delivering newspapers and summer jobs or something like this. But yeah.
So tell me
how it happened.
How it happened, and yeah.
Yeah, so I was doing this maths education work first as a postdoc as well, and then later I was I got to substitute for do they call themselves lecturers in university pedagogy that we have in the University of Helsinki, who basically they do research in pedagogy and they teach staff members, and they basically help the faculties organize their teaching and develop the teaching. So I got to substitute one person first, then a second one. I worked in these roles for some time. And at the same time, I was doing research on maths education. It fit the profile there. And but finally, everybody came back to work, and I didn't have an opportunity like that anymore. I tried then to apply to several similar and also maths lecturer positions inside Finland, but didn't get any. I was unemployed for a couple of months, and then I somehow, I guess I started thinking about whether I should try applying to some things outside academia, which I'd never done. So it was like very mysterious how to do it, what to expect, so on. But it helped a lot because I was unemployed, and the employment office, whatever they are called, the voimatoimisto or something, they proposed that I could take a course on applying for jobs that is specifically designed for people who have university degrees. So, okay, I went in, and nothing better to do, and also I was interested in finding out about these possibilities. And while I was there, we had a task to look for positions in these websites that advertise jobs like Duunitori and places like that. And then I just happened to notice this like THL, which is the institute. THL had a position for a data scientist that was, I think it was closing that day or the next day. And I was like, well, this must be a site that I should apply. And because I was reading a bit of the description, I thought that it was actually quite interesting, and also it fits my skill set. So I thought, why not apply? And then that's it. Then I had an interview, and then they very pleased with the job.
So you got the first job you applied for?
Outside academia. Yes.
Outside academia, of course.
After several attempts to inside. Yeah.
This is a common pattern. You are now number 5, I think, that I'm interviewing. And well, one of them didn't move out of academia, but moved to a different area of science. But the common pattern is that people first think that, oh no, I have no idea how to go to industry. And then when they apply, it's like the first or second interview that they get a job. And maybe after that they change the job, and then they actually find themselves in a pretty nice position. Do you like the job now? How many years have you been working there?
It's 3 years and a couple of months.
Okay. And so first of all, what kind of things are you doing?
I always like to do many things, learn new things. So I have quite a diverse portfolio there, if you could say so. So mainly all things are sort of data related. So to collect data from their databases and then manipulate that and do some analysis on it, and whatever, like for whatever purpose. For example, a lot of it for research purposes, and some for like statistical reports. But then I also am interested in also different kinds of projects. So I'm working with people who do this kind of behavioral what's it called, behavioral science, sort of kind of like for example, there's this HPV vaccine, and it's available for boys and girls, but for some reason boys have not been taking it. So then they investigate what might be the reasons there, and what should we do to get them to take them, and that kind of stuff. I think that's also very interesting, but it's nothing to do with this other stuff that I'm doing with the data.
That's very interesting. What to do so that they take it, but you have to figure that out from the data somehow. So there is data about who is more likely to
there's
escape that.
There's first data who are taking it, and then I was not actually. So this is what the group is doing. That I was not taking part in that, but what they did was that they went to the people and did sort of like ethnographical studies. They talked to them and kind of basically just talked to them about this thing, and have they taken it, how are they considering it, and try to find out what in their kind of life influences their decisions, these kinds of decisions. Like, is it like more like social media if your friends are doing it? Is it the school nurse who tells them about these things, and to try to find out how to get these people to reach them?
I can see there a very short bridge from mathematics to something that is very relevant, very important, very urgent in the society. Like if you think about this kind of, okay, so several steps in between, but you're, as a mathematician who works with data, contributing to something that is like relevant in this day. How do you feel about it? Do you enjoy the fact that now, maybe for the first time, you're applying your skills, and it has such, like, let's say, meaningful, or, I mean, not saying that mathematics itself is not meaningful, but you know what I mean.
I think I know what you mean. So but I had this kind of period in between when I was not doing theoretical mathematics, but the maths education.
I actually thought about it after I said.
Yeah, so that was so that is kind of like quite similar to what we're doing now. So collect data analyze it, try to find out what kind of diseases people have. Is it somehow related to their other circumstances, so on, to try to find these patterns. It's actually quite similar to what I did in the maths education, getting data from the students and try to figure out, okay, why are some people stressed and some people not, and why some people achieve better, and so on. So yeah, that's quite similar. And if the question was, do I enjoy it? Yes, it's different. It is different. It's much easier to kind of justify it to people. Why should one be interested in these questions? Yeah, I did like the mathematics as well. It's just, it's just different.
Didn't work out, but that's one of the big problems. The number of positions is radically small. There is one lectureship I know of opening this year in Tampere, out of all Finland. Maybe there are 2 or 3 others somewhere, and there are maybe hundreds of people who are, and people from abroad apply for these positions as well.
The people who have been in academia for a long time, but there are always new people coming, new people with PhDs come and, okay, try to find the first job, and as you mentioned, people from abroad. Yeah, it's tough to find a position.
Would you let's point another thing out. So you are still kind of active. You went to a conference. You were talking about your PhD student in your LinkedIn post recently. So how does that work? How active are you still? And I
kind of didn't stop research when I started this job, because, well, basically research you can do in mathematics and also mathematics education. You don't need lab equipment and so on, so you can do research if you just have time. And then I was thinking about it. Okay, should I just stop then, or should I continue? Because I wanted to continue, and then I still had projects ongoing. But I thought that, okay, these projects, when they end, should I begin new projects? And I was thinking about it, but then I thought, okay, I like it, and people should have hobbies. So why couldn't I have a hobby as doing research on a kind of small scale, at like not that many projects that I would do in academia, but maybe 1 or 2 I could keep up with, and so that's what I did.
And maybe mathematics has always been a hobby for you, even when you got salary for it, in a sense that it's something that you love and it's fun. I'm saying this because I actually asked you before this interview to bring the set of Platonic solids that you once made. It stuck in my mind.
Where did you see them?
It was, I'm gonna tell you, if I'm not mistaken, it was the celebration of the publication of your book.
Yes.
And so I came to your house or her house, not sure.
Johannes, I think it was there. Yeah.
And there you showed it to us. So Jokke made single-handedly, now tell me if I'm wrong.
I had some help from my godfather, actually, but
okay. So mathematically, one can prove that there are only 5 shapes in 3-dimensional space which classify as regular polygons, meaning that each side is a regular, not polygons, polyhedra. Each side is a regular polygon, and they're fit together to form this shape. So cube is an example, tetrahedron is an example, icosahedron, dodecahedron, and octahedron. And these are these five, and there's kind of a lot of beauty to the fact that you cannot have any other one, and you captured this beauty making these five solids. And did you also make a sphere in conjunction with it, or no? No, so it was only these five.
Yes.
Yeah, so I thought that was like a very beautiful thing to do, and it demonstrates your, should I say, playful attitude towards mathematics.
Yeah, say that. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I always had mathematics as a hobby, but I guess you could say so. But of course, when you get salary for it, then there are aspects that you maybe don't always find so pleasurable.
Yeah.
It's like doing the job. Yeah, but mathematics itself, yes, has always been very close to my heart.
What do you miss now that you are not at the university anymore?
Yes, actually teaching, because I love to do that, to think of these ways to motivate students, and of course then when I started doing research on teaching and learning, then it kind of like perfectly complemented the teaching, because then I could, if I saw something happening in the classroom, I might get an idea for research from that. Okay, maybe let's study this phenomenon a bit more. Or then when I went to some conference on maths education, I saw somebody present something, and you can actually like do this way or that way, and then I could try it in my own teaching. So that was a very, very nice combination. I really enjoyed that. So teaching is, I do a little bit of that. For example, I'm teaching a methods course in the Faculty of Education this autumn. I did the same last autumn. It's a short, intensive course on statistics and the R language, R programming. But yeah, it's different from like having a like room full of first year students, and you know, many of them. I was going to say all of them eager to, but to you know, learn mathematics, but some of them are there because they have to graduate from, have to pass the course.
And then it's your job to make them eager.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You mentioned research in connection with data that in your current work. So do you mean research just within the company, or do you actually have publications coming out from the data you do at the DHL?
There are publications. Yeah, it's there's also sort of like pure research, or research that is not just about like that. I guess there you could divide it into two, that there's kind of research that, okay, what is happening in Finland at the moment among elderly people or something, but there's also research like elderly people who have fallen more than once during this year. What is their what's the likelihood they experience this and this and this the next year, depending on various factors. So this would be more sort of more like, I guess, theoretical or more generalizable research. So yeah, both kinds of.
Okay, so my impression now is that you're in a pretty good situation. So you are working in industry, it's kind of secure job, and at the same time you do research within that context. You also do something that is benefiting our society directly. and you're still part, even though not so much, but you're still part of the academic education community, and sounds like a good combination. In general.
Yeah, but it does take a bit of time. It can be stressful at times to do all that.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking, and especially last spring, because we had these what are they called now, with these sort of restructuring negotiations or whatever they are called at THL, where people we knew that we have to get to lay off people, and quite a bit of them. And of course, these cases, you never know whether you were yourself in any danger of being let go. But of course, at that time, everybody was thinking of options, and I was also thinking, okay, should I? And actually, I applied to one job also, lecturer.
A university job?
Yeah, university job, yes. What was I saying? That they think of, okay, like, would I like to go back? Is this good? Should I stop doing the all this university business because I don't have time for it, and I've not yet decided. Maybe I never will. We'll see what happens. When I look back in my studies and also work life afterwards, it's always been, and if I've changed, I've done this, and then I changed to that one, and then I changed to the next one. So maybe I shouldn't think of it like too much of like what should I do the rest of my life, but instead, okay, I'm happy now, or am I happy? Should I maybe move more a bit this way or that way? And then something will probably happen, and you never know what will happen in the future. And just to keep the doors open, but I should be looking at a little bit so that I'm not too stressed, because it's important.
Yeah, I was like about to ask, but I guess you kind of answered, like, would you recommend this path to somebody who is, or like, were you surprised about how much you like it? Is it, or was it about exactly matching your expectations to go to industrial job? If you're talking to somebody who is at the university and is very insecure about their future and they don't know what to do, would you like recommend this as an option?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, it can be. I've only seen this kind of one place. I've only been working at that one place, but it's already much more diverse than university was, because at university everybody's gone to the same path basically. Even if they come from some other country, they have still to be to the same path. They did their masters, that they did their blah blah. So everybody had this kind of similar experiences. But when I went to THL, suddenly I'm working with people like, a lot of people come from university. Some people have doctorates, some people don't. Some people come from like hospital backgrounds. They may be doctors. They might be and then some people come from like programmers who are just like software engineers, and data managers. You have people coming from like from like actual companies. So this is a government
business people
institute, so it's different from like a company that business people and all these people, and they're just working with the same problems, and you're like, oh wow, and then you listen to their stories and you're like, okay, there's that kind of thing, and people have changed jobs and then you can see that, okay, well, if I get bored with this stuff, I might want to apply to your company, or I might want to
Right.
try that thing. And there's so many more options that you can see when you are.
Right.
We
were never told that at the university.
Yeah, or even if you were told, you did not study it before you saw it. So
Yeah.
I do recommend. I mean, if a chance, if you have a chance to try it out. And
I also have this experience both from moving to a different area within university, but also from working outside. I worked a bit in companies and also just been to business events with startup people, and it's a different world. It is the startup world, by the way, it's like a world of its own. Definitely much more diverse than academia. Is there something special that you learned at this course when you were in this unemployment situation? Did you brush up your CV in a particular way? Was there something special you did to market yourself to industry?
Nothing special, actually. Yeah, the CV should be shorter, but I knew that. I had no problems of like making a shorter CV. Yeah, it was not so much anything new, but or something like very, very different or very strange. But I remember it was that actually, compared to many other people on the course, I was actually quite good in kind of giving this sort of this elevator pitch thing. So, and I kind of wondered why that was, because you never do that in academia. Oh, well, yeah, almost never. I don't know, maybe nowadays if you have some special like event
Not
or
in
something.
that format, but okay. But did you come to a conclusion why you were better? Why you have the skill?
No, I don't know why. But I learned about myself that I'm able to sort of focus topic and sort of like into this sort of crystal clear bit and deliver that so that someone else can understand it.
Okay, now I can sense where you get that skill from.
I don't know. I was thinking maybe teaching.
Yeah, teaching mathematics, because in mathematics you have to package a complex idea into a lecture or a presentation. It's or even when you do a proof, you have to capture your idea in as elegant as possible, as short as possible, strip it from everything unnecessary. Do you think that is connected?
Yeah, I think so. And also from teaching to be actually confident in speaking. Well, maybe not only teaching, maybe also doing presenting your work in conferences and stuff. But that you have some confidence and that you're able to distill the main crucial bits that you want to deliver, whether it is about your job application or whether it's about some mathematical topic. But I think maybe that was important there.
Are there other skills, or what are the other skills that you think you are now transferring from the mathematical and math education to your new job, which might not be obvious, but you...
Right. Yeah, I never know what is obvious to people, but
Nothing is obvious.
But so kind of also.
By obvious, I only mean that if you have exactly the type of
Yeah,
problem.
okay, like if I did some C programming and now I'm doing C. Okay, yeah, but sort of more generally, kind of think sort of have a clear, precise and systematic approach to thinking about problems or to thinking about processes. I found that I have that to some extent more than maybe some other people from different backgrounds. So I think that's one thing.
Yeah, I hear this. This is a recurring pattern from people I've interviewed. Can you give an example or some situation or maybe some kind of data problem or where this kind of thing or even process, you speak of process, what do you mean by process?
Well, if we, for example, if I know that we know that we need to produce a report in November about some data, so then I start immediately thinking about, okay, so first, how do we get the data? Who gets the data? What data we need? What needs to be done afterwards before we can move to the next step? And who is going to write this report? And how is that person going to get the data? And do we also have many kind of access limitations because it's in many cases it's sensitive, or at least person level data, but sometimes even sensitive data. So not everybody can get access to the same. And if you like immediately start picturing this kind of web of the processed kind of diagram in your head. I was like, how is gonna work? If I have the diagram, then everything is just gonna flow through it. But some I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like that other people might not. They might be in the discussion. They might be like, yeah, let's start writing this. And I was you can't start writing it before you get oh yeah, we did today. Then, well, can you give it to me? Well, I can't give it to me before somebody else gives something else. I said, okay. And then afterwards they might say like, yeah, that's so clever because you thought of this and these things. And I said, yes, I'm clever.
That is incredible, because what is incredible about it is that probably number one reason why you have this skill is because you did mathematics. This is what I'm trying to communicate in my whole podcast and business, is that mathematics is a superpower, and I think it is not known among the mathematicians and it's not known by the industry employers. Both don't know that there is this transfer of skill into a completely different situation. Out of curiosity, I just recently read the book by Donald Trump that he wrote in 1987. And it just came to my mind when you said all this, because obviously he describes his successful deals in this book, business deals. And one thing that one takeaway from this book for me was that he planned every detail of his construction very carefully before he even started. And this was his main advantage over other builders who would just start building. And so what you just described fits very much to this. So you would never expect stereotypically that you need to be a mathematician for that, because Donald Trump, for example, he is a businessman or a real estate agent, but he somehow came to the same thing. But I think it's very interesting to see that mathematicians, unbeknownst to everybody, including themselves, have these skills as soon as they're put in a position where they need to use them.
But you also don't know how much is which comes first? That was I able to do mathematics because I was thinking in these ways, or did I get these ways from doing mathematics? Although it's probably both. So you had some skills to be able to, some thinking skills to be able to enjoy mathematics. But then when you enjoy mathematics and you do more difficult and difficult mathematics, then you kind of hone these skills and they become more developed.
Yeah. Okay. Jokke,
Yes.
is there something else you want to share? Something else you want to say?
So what did we talk about? We talked about whether I enjoy or would recommend the stepping outside academia and try out your skills, or whether mathematicians should, or mathematics who graduate from mathematics should try it, and I think they should, and I think they do, as you mentioned, they do have several special skills that it's kind of difficult to recognize them before you try them outside your field.
Right.
And it would be very good if there was more kind of interplay between academia and companies or other stakeholders, and if people could go and do some work outside academia just for during their studies. I know there are kind of these kind of practical work periods, but I don't know if they really play out that much. And I felt that I feel that the universities and that maybe both sides are kind of maybe shy about approaching the other somehow. I don't know. I think like if I think about the math professors, they're like, oh, that's industrial. I don't want anything to do with it. And if I think about industrial, it's like universities, they're just some kind of like professors. They
Drink coffee all day.
drinking coffee in their rooms, and they're like think about things that don't actually matter to anybody and so on. But if there was some sort of interplay, and if people could come and go more easily, I think it would be so beneficial for both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also my dream, actually. Very, very. Thank you for saying this. I mean, thanks for sharing this opinion. Yeah. Eventually, I hope Manifold Solutions to grow into this kind of agent that can help to cross-pollinate.
That would be good. Yes.
And we already do some of it also in the form of this podcast. Okay. I think we can wrap up. This was very, very inspiring and exciting. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's nice to think about these things and to be discuss about these things. Not many people are so interested in asking these kind of questions, but it's very interesting.
Thank you for tuning in for this episode of Manifold Solutions podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are interested in these topics, I recommend you check out our Facebook page, where there's a community of mathematicians discussing career-related topics, as well as our mailing list and website. All of the links are down below. And of course, please subscribe to this YouTube channel for further notifications. And have a good rest of the day.